Hey everybody, Brian here from Jesus Uncomplicated, and I wanted to bring you something out of Romans today again. I've been spending a lot of time in Romans lately and just in my own reading, and I keep finding these little nuggets, and this one's relevant to something I saw today. It's Romans 13, which as you may or may not know, has to do with government and our response to governing authorities. And so I saw an Instagram thing today that just basically said, well, I gotta situate my Bible on my lap here. I saw an Instagram image that, I don't know if you've seen the meme where the band, the member of the band is holding a tuba right up to somebody's face, like right in somebody's face. And the text on the tuba said, conspiracy theories. The text on the person doing the tuba pushing is it said Christians, and the text on the person with the tuba getting shoved in their face is people who need to hear the gospel. In other words, that I'm explaining it, and me explaining it makes it not funny anymore, but it was hilarious when I saw it. So basically, people in the church, people that are Christians, people that believe in Jesus, are sometimes so wrapped up in conspiracy theories or the latest daily outrage. You know, there's something every day we're supposed to be outraged about. And some of the things out there are really worth being outraged about and things like that. So I've kind of been stepping back from the whole conspiracy theory thing, which is tricky because as a thinking person and as a person who loves his country, it's hard for me to not get wrapped up in the idea that, oh, there's somebody out there pulling some strings and we're all victims and we're, you know, that type of thing. Are there conspiracies out there? Yeah, most likely. And are we allowed to know the inner workings of everything that's going on in our society and in our world and in our government? No, we're not allowed to know certain things, and sometimes that's a good thing. We are not allowed to know certain national security secrets. There are other things that we probably should know about, and it's up to people to bravely expose things that we need to know about that our government's doing. So I'm not going to delve too deeply into that because it's real easy to start getting down a rabbit trail and going, well, what about this? And then you start talking about chemtrails, and you start talking about JFK. And I know people who I dearly love that are students of certain topics. A guy I know, he's very knowledgeable about the JFK assassination. Well, two guys actually. There are some people I know that have researched chemtrails. There are people I know that have researched, you know, I don't know, any number of conspiracy theories. My point is, getting back to what we as followers of Jesus are called to do is not to get sidetracked by things like that. It might be a conspiracy theory, it might be a daily outrage, it might be a law that Congress is passing, or that the president is signing into law, or something like that we can get outraged about. And it's okay to care about your government, to care about the legislative process, but our goal, our core purpose on this earth as followers of Jesus is to let other people know about Jesus. That's it. Love God, love others. I say it every time. Every stinking one of these videos, I end up just saying the phrase love God, love others. And that's all it comes back down to. I'm not saying don't get concerned about the government, about conspiracy theories, about things like that, but don't be that person who claims to follow Jesus and love your neighbor, but you've got a giant tuba shoved in their face of conspiracy theories. It's hard for me to say this. I have friends that I love dearly that have kind of gone down that road, and I can't judge them because, you know, I probably post a lot of weird things too, but and a lot of people I completely agree with politically that are posting certain things that I'm like, oh yeah, I believe in that, but I'm not posting it. It just seems to detract from our core message as Christians on this earth. And if my, if me posting something like that, it might make me feel better, might even change somebody's mind, unlikely on social media, but it might do some good. But is it a distraction? There are so many distractions that keep us from looking at what's really important. Keep your eye on what matters. Jesus is what matters. How we love people is what matters. And yeah, so I was going to read a scripture here, and I'm not going to disappoint you by just skipping over it. So it has to be kind of taken, taken with some context, but I feel like it still works. And keep in mind, I'm a libertarian, so this chapter 13 of Romans doesn't always feel too good to read as a person who believes in limited government and things like that. So, and fiscal responsibility, personal responsibility. Chapter 13 of Romans, verse 1, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. That means that any government on this earth that exists is a government that God has allowed to exist. I'm going to continue. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. So in other words, the government is not there to punish good people, it's there to punish bad people, people that do the wrong thing. Therefore, one must be in subjection, not only to avoid God's wrath, but also for the sake of conscience. For because of this, you also pay taxes, for the authorities are ministers of God, attending to this very thing. And this is a time, too, when the authorities at the time that Paul is writing about is Rome. It's whoever is in charge that wasn't always friendly to Christians, wasn't always friendly to people that preached about Jesus and believed in Jesus. So for Paul to say this is really kind of, I think it was groundbreaking at the time, because this guy, it was under the authorities' nose that Jesus himself was crucified. This is pretty powerful for Paul to just come out and say, to be in subjection, to pay taxes, pay to all what is owed them, taxes to whom taxes are owed, revenue to whom revenue is owed, respect to whom respect is owed, honor to whom honor is owed. It's crazy. I don't always like that. Like I said, I believe in limited government. I believe in fiscal responsibility, and when our government is getting really, really, really big and irresponsible with our money, yeah, it's frustrating. But I have to remember that God allows governments to exist, and who am I to really, who am I to really argue with God about what he thinks or what he puts in place? It's a really tough pill to swallow, I guess, if you are a person who believes in Jesus and believes the Bible, and then you read something like that, like, oh, you mean I'm supposed to respect the authorities? I'm supposed to acknowledge that people that are in power are people that God put there? It's the truth. And so that's something that we might always struggle with. And that's just another thing. I get on here and on the videos that I've been making, I'm not an expert in having it all figured out and doing the right thing all the time. I'm just like a message I heard this past weekend. I don't know what I'm talking about, but God does. So I'm just going to read what he came up with. So anyway, I think that's it for now. Feel free to shoot me an email, mail@jesusuncomplicated.com. And I will see you next time.